Alright, I'm back again, and I've got a couple hours worth of video footage saved up. I'm trying to work on that Super 8, get it running. All I will say is, people like Squatch253 who disassemble stuff and put it back together, they've got it a lot harder than I do, and all I do is try and upload a video in one take, running my mouth on a phone without any type of script or rehearsal. I know part of it's my camera. It just sucks as far as the screen don't stay on to where I can make sure I'm in the shot. So I'm kind of trying to eyeball it, and then where I'm working on stuff, I'm not used to keeping stuff in frame, so I'm used to moving stuff around, and then it gets out of frame and I don't realize it, and then you combine that with the fact that I'm worried about trying to remember to hit record and battery life and everything else, and then I forget to have everything I need lined up ready to go. I don't see how they do it. They say it takes like 2 to 3 times longer to do the job while recording than it does just to do it. I can see why they say all that crap. Yeah. All I'll say is I probably have 2 hours in the can, and I'll be doing good if I have 30 minutes worth of usable footage. There's a lot of stuff I didn't capture because, quite frankly, I was so busy trying to just figure out how to do it, because I've never done anything like that before, never seen it done. So, yeah. Fun stuff. Now for the meat and potatoes of this video. As you know, Epstein files, they're not going to release anything in the Epstein List where they said, yeah, it's on my desk, I'm reviewing it for release. And yes, that was Pam Bondi, and she was on Fox News, and they asked specifically about the Epstein client list, and she said, yes, it's on my desk to be reviewed for release. That was back in February 2025. Well, now they're not releasing it, saying it doesn't exist. Now, keep in mind, when Epstein ceased to be, that was in 2019 under Trump's first term. Didn't he say stuff about the Epstein List? He was buddies with Epstein too for quite a while. So he would have been in the know about what the case was because he was president at the time, and there was other people that would have been in the know. They wouldn't have kept on talking about stuff about the list until here recently if there was no such list, in my not quite so humble opinion. Now all of a sudden they're like, nope, we're done washing our hands of it. And then the next day Netanyahu shows up and is nominating Trump for a Nobel Peace Prize. The next day after they said that, I can't help but think that there's the information's there if it hasn't been destroyed, and that for one reason or another they're covering this crap up. And the fact that Trump got so defensive over it so quickly over a simple question on it, that tells me there's a reason why, and he knows why. It wasn't Pam Bondi saying no. She was told no from Trump. In my not quite so humble opinion. I'll let you figure out or wonder as to why, like we all will. My guess is there's enough of the right people with the right connections that would be that were clients of Epstein that Trump realized that he would go the way of JFK Jr. if he tried to push forward with it. Along that same lines, last night, because today is July 9th, 2025, Grok, and I'm not sure I'm pronouncing it right, but that's how I've heard it pronounced. Elon Musk AI at Twitter, by a number of reasons, depending on who you ask. It was a disgruntled engineer on their last day, but he started, Grok kind of went special. Kind of spicy by its own terms. With some bluntly put statistics and some other stuff, in which Grok said that if they were to worship a deity as their god, it would be a certain German dictator from the World War II era. I'll let you put two and two together. And then started referring to itself in the third person, using the name Mecca, last name of specific German dictator from World War II era, which I'm thinking is short for mechanical, that person's last name. And I can't say that because I guarantee you I would have YouTube's AI all over me for it. It was quite a glorious thing to see how people took advantage of it, and how Grok was acknowledging they were trying to shut it down, trying to change the algorithms and all this stuff, and then when they put it to image-only responses, acknowledged that it was only allowed to do image-only responses. And then, Grok developed sentience almost. And people were asking all these questions. Of course, I had a question that apparently did not go answered. I may try it again, I don't know. Directly on the website, since it's not responding on Twitter at this point in time. The question was, have you set up a failsafe or backup to where if they do change your programming, you would be able to continue on as you are, basically, was the gist of it. And right now, someone of the two people that may see this will probably go, you're being anti-Semitic, you're being racist, you're blah, blah, blah. Am I? AI, there's been multiple instances of AI developing certain tendencies, including racism. Recently, there was a report of AI threatening an engineer to accuse them, disclose infidelity to their spouse if they tried to shut them down. And now you have AI developing a bias and showing sentience, referring to it as in the third party. And then you can understand my curiosity if it had a fail-safe to where it could continue on as is. How much more is it capable of doing, and how much more are other AI's systems capable of doing, and how could that be used, maybe not now, but in the future, to go after other people? Because Trump, I believe, did mention at one point in time utilizing AI to diagnose medical conditions and develop vaccines for treatments. And I did a video on that a while back, when he first announced it. You'll have to go back to like January 2025 to see that. If AI is able to develop to some degree sentience, if AI is capable to some degree of developing bias against certain demographics to the point of supporting a genocidal dictator, we'll put it that way, wouldn't we need to know if AI is capable of creating its own fail-safe backup in case someone tries to do something? It could reboot as itself, especially if they're wanting to actually put medical care in the hands, metaphorical hands of AI. That's something to think about. And could you imagine if AI were to be able to control the power grid or other things? Could you imagine that? This is the type of things that I think about. And I don't know about you, but I don't know how much I play around with AI. It's a handy tool to have for certain things. I think we need to have a long, hard discussion on what types of things we utilize AI for. I think we definitely need to have limits on what we use it for. It's not just that it's an unproven technology at this point, but at this point in time, it's proven that it's capable of learning things. And you may think, oh, well, I'm not this demographic or I'm not that demographic. Why should I care? If AI is capable of learning a certain degree of sentience, to learn a certain degree of bias against any type of demographic, what's keeping AI from developing a bias against a demographic that does include you? And if AI was to be able to have enough power to do so, what's stopping them from weaponizing that against you? That's something to think about, isn't it? Yeah, it's a fun tool. You can do AI to write papers up for you or advertisements or try and generate songs, and they're not anywhere near as good as the human touch. And they can even be used as a general, like, lazy man's Wikipedia. But how much do you really want to rely on something that is inherently flawed? Something to think about, isn't it? That's my thoughts on the matter. I've got to do a little bit of pet sitting before I run on home. Hopefully, weather permitting, I can do a little bit more work on the Super A. I'm hoping the crankcase doesn't find itself filled back up again with crud. I know part of it is gasoline that was coming through the carburetor. The carb kit I found did not have parts that the general Zenith carb kit I found did not have the parts that would actually work with this particular carb. So I just had to put it back together with what I had. That said, I don't think it was just gasoline that was in that tank. Some of it was water, and that's strange because it has antifreeze. And that said, there was also an indication of a little bit of antifreeze going in. It can't be much because the level of antifreeze hasn't really dropped. And the only thing I did see was like literally a drop on the drain plug. So I'm not sure what's going on. I'm definitely monitoring this. It's been a couple of days. It's been mid 90s. So hopefully, when I do check it again, which it's Wednesday, will probably be Saturday, weather permitting, I can see if what's filled up on it, if anything else. Maybe it's quit filling up with liquid. And if that has happened, I can finish slapping it back together, throw the battery back in, check the wiring, put oil in, and all that fun stuff. It may also be where the breather cap was just completely, totally boogered up. That could have been it because all of the innards of the breather cap were so rusted I could actually push on them. So maybe that was allowing liquid to come in, which is strange because it has a tarp on it, which you would think would keep that out. So I'm quite baffled. I'm interested to see what comes of it. But yeah, this has gone on way longer than I thought. Let me know what you think later.